as we get ready to watch the next round of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. And as you'll see, all live here at the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Rachel Wyford, and with me in the booth is Ossian Pahaka. Behind the scenes, of course, is Joe Peak, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We're here today at Monza Combined, of course, and, well, you'll find out more here with our lap guide.
Welcome to Monza. This track has a major place in racing history, not just for the legendary races, names, and cars that have been here, but because it was the third purpose-built car racing circuit in the world. It's often discussed and reverenced among fans, and especially by Italians, who have nicknamed it the Temple of Speed. In fact, the Ferrari fans here are so famous for their devotion that they have been dubbed the Tifosi and never fail to show up in droves. While the real world offers only 3 feasible layouts to race on due to safety, in iRacing, the inclusion of the oval and the lack of safety concerns gives it a stunning 9 versions drivers can choose from. The modern GP layout is of course the most well known, with its long history of hosting the Italian Grand Prix. But the oval and combined circuits allow those who thirst for more speed to satiate that craving with its insanely high banking. Indeed, incredible velocities are a staple of just about every version you can race here. Draft battles are not uncommon, no matter which car you're racing. But the inclusion of the chicanes makes using an outbraking maneuver a much more tricky way of overtaking. The circuit is notorious for drivers getting tangled up with each other while running side by side in these slow and cumbersome corners. In fact, one of the greatest dangers for drivers is the first few laps when the field is still clumped together and attempting to navigate them 2 and 3 wide. While there are other modern circuits with high-speed straights, the fact that Monza sits inside the Royal Park just north of Milan and is still tightly lined with trees heightens the sense of speed here. All in all, Monza is unmatched in its history, thrills, and great racing. Its significance in motorsports history and culture is sure to be unchallenged for years.
And that was our lap guide here from GSRC for the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix at Monza Combined. Ozzy, this is definitely an interesting combination track for this car.
Yeah, I suppose it was some drunken lemur decided that, we should race Lotus 79s, which is a beautiful creation. It's a ground effect car, Rachel. And it's a wonderful, wonderful vehicle. And then we should race it at the track, which doesn't utilize ground effects at all, because you have to put it so high. First of all, you have to take all the wings off, pretty much. Because you need top speed. Top speed is the king here. And then you need to race it so high that the ground effect doesn't work anymore. So as a result of that, you have an experience equivalent to putting the London Philharmonic into a garage. So it's going to be an interesting race, and it's going to be probably some chaos, because it forces the cars in a pack, and when you put a bunch of open wheelers in a pack, well, you know what happens then. It's going to be an interesting one to follow, Rachel, but I'm looking forward to it in a weird way. Let's put it that way.
So what I'm hearing from you is that we should expect an experience similar to the this is showing my age in iRacing here, when this is going to show my age here, but when iRacing used to take the Star Mazda to Charlotte Oval.
Pretty much yes, or any race at Charlotte Oval, because it's a free track, and a lot of things happen there, let's put it that way. And I'm also reminded of the Skip Barber 2K Cup eliminators, which used to take place at Monza Combined and other things when we were 8 wide on the main straight, and that was fun. But yeah, it's gonna be an let's put it that how should I say it? It's gonna be a game of survival. Yeah, let's go with that.
So how much do you think damage any kind of contact will make to these cars? Because obviously being a huge aero track, will damage have a huge effect on them? Obviously not using it for downforce, but is it the drag effect going to be a huge impact, of course, on the top end speed?
Yes.
Well, there you go. That's your straight answer. Yes, of course it is. We'll hit the points here from the previous rounds. You'll be able to get those for you up on screen now, as looking at the drivers' points, of course. Right now, it's Paul. Now, Paulie Partinen. Okay, you know what? Ozzy, you can take these.
Okay, so Pauli Kalevi Partanen is in the lead with 110 points. Jukka Tolonen in second place, 21 points behind. Then it's Michael the Turk, Timothy Reed, and the legend himself, Gernot Fritsche, in fifth place, 36 points behind. You're gonna enjoy this series, Rachel, because it's populated by mostly Finns. Anyway, you do team points. I think you'll have an easier time with these ones.
I think I will, yes. So Equip Renault Elf is out front right now with 29 points. That is De Turk and Salas. Second place is Marlboro Team McLaren with Patanen and Lopez. I could do Lopez. I can pronounce Spanish names. Third place, Martini Racing Team Lotus with Tolonen and Teles. Probably butchered that one, of course. And these are all, I think, tied actually here, with down to fourth with Liga Gitans with Frisch and Alvenza Asvenado. Yeah, but I just butchered that. Olympic Cameras Wolf Racing in fifth, minus 3 points there, so technically second, although we have appears to be 4 joint leaders in the team championships.
Yeah, that's gonna be a very, very tight battle for those guys. Now, race details. This is the round number 3 of the season out of 12 rounds, as per usual, since this is an iRacing official series. We got 15 laps today here at Monza Combined. It's not gonna be a long race in terms of kilometers. It's only gonna be like 150, but it's gonna be a very long race for the drivers to survive. Open setup, of course, for all these cars. I hope that most of them have got that right, because it's going to be paramount today. No spare car at all. If you wreck it, you buy it. Drive-through penalty at 17 incidents, disqualification at 25 incidents, and dismemberment at 1 incident.
Yeah, that's likely going to happen. And I think really any innocent incident here, well, is going to have a huge impact for these guys. But I've got some limited experience driving this car. And for the viewers who have not experienced this car, I will try and express the experience from a novice's point of view. To me, it's like flying a helicopter. Every single limb has to operate differently. You have your left hand on the wheel, you have your right hand on the H-pattern shifter if you have one, you have your left foot on the brake and your right foot on the gas, and they all stay in those places and they do things differently. Unless you're using paddles and being a heretic, of course, because this is a H-pattern car, so why would one not shift with a H-pattern if you have the option? But it's such a... I always find it a visceral experience driving this thing, because it's such a violent driving experience, Ozzy. At least to me. It's a wonderful car, amazing technology. It's an experience to drive.
It is an experience to drive. Well, I would put it that way. I was always a heretic because I don't own an H-pattern. So, but what you don't need with this car is the clutch. You don't need it almost at all. Maybe at the start if you choose to start with a very tall first gear. I think some of the people actually need to do that. But you can blip on the downshift and you can just lift on the upshift because it's a dog box. So it will fully accept that. As for the driving experience itself, it is violent, and can just imagine, like, this car is violent in Donington, it's violent in Silverstone, like on a flat track, it feels violent. Now, can you imagine a track which combines the speeds of Monza or Daytona pretty much, with the banking of Daytona, and then you got the bumps of Sebring, and you get a combination that is going to be both hilarious and terrifying. So, hilarifying?
Hilarifying, I like that, yes. Actually, one of my favourite places to drive this, and at the time the DW12 IndyCar, I'd take them both to Bathurst. Especially this one, the Lotus 79, was amazing at Bathurst. I loved driving that thing.
Does Jukka have an Angry Birds helmet?
Terrifying. Pardon?
Does Jukka have an Angry Birds helmet? Can we just...
I think he might. Yeah, let's try and find him there.
Yeah, there we go. Jukka Tolonen, number 8 on the track. He does have an Angry Birds helmet that says Jukka. I'm sorry, no. That's... Angry Birds came out in like 2000s. This is a car from 1978, so... Sorry,
inconsistent, what? Wow. Yeah, that's wow, that's a butterfly effect in full effect there. Time travel clearly not working out great for him. But this track, these curbs are also huge. These could really upset these cars, do you think, Ozzy?
Yeah, well, you can't cut the curbs at the Ascari chicane at all, because the yellow ones, they will just send your car flying, even if they ride very high here. I think they have the ride heights almost maxed out, and you can see it in the handling in Parabolica. Pauli takes the lead, because you can just see Jukka working the wheel and see how much he is turning the wheel. It's not like a graphical glitch or anything. He has to turn it a lot because the car doesn't want to turn. And the reason the car doesn't want to turn is because it's designed to use ground effect as its main source of downforce. Now you're taking away the ground effect by raising the car very high so it can do this stuff, which is the oval, and then you also remove the wings, so as a result you have a car that is handling very poorly, and that is something the driver's just gonna have to get used to, especially on full tanks of fuel.
So what I'm hearing is they took a Lotus 49 and put J2 rockets on the back of it.
Well, you say that, but they have the same engine. I'm not kidding.
That's even scarier.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's a Cosworth DFV. They use the same engine in Formula 1 from like 1967 to I think the early 1980s. I think the last win was taken in 1983 or 84.
Okay, we are ready for your grid here today. So it's going to be, as we get those up on the screen for you, qualifying is in fact over. Row 1 is going to be Partanen with Michael de Turk in second place. We have Simon in third with Frisch in fourth. Kajalainen in fifth place with Hisada in sixth place. Reed in seventh with Pai in eighth. Toika in ninth place with Sanchez in 10th.
Yep, and in the second page we have Severi Seppä. Alongside him will be Kimmo Viljakainen. Timothy Wohan in 13th, Jukka Tolonen in 14th, Suarez 15th, Keith Herner will be 16th, Barry West, Sherman Suarez and Gwendolen Old, and Uwe Trengride rounding out your top 20.
In 21st, we're going to have Mosquera. With 22nd is Finnegan, with 23rd being Morelli, and Ingle in 24th. Now, folks, don't forget to make sure you check out the Majors Garage, the home of free Baseline Plus setups. Get help from any of the garage coaches 24/7. Sign up now for affordable monthly subscriptions, telemetry, coaching, and more by simply clicking on the link in the description below. And also, if you get to use our special discount code MajorsGSRC, that is MajorsGSRC, and you'll get 10% off. So go check that out if you want some awesome setups. Here on the grid now, getting ready to start this race. It's going to be interesting, especially this first lap, I think. Ozzy, predictions of when we'll see the first chaos?
Well, it's telemetry, my dear Watson, because I think the first crashes will be... I don't think the oval side will see that. I think when they break into the second chicane, which will be the first breaking point, actually it's going to be before that. It's going to be at Curva Grande, because they can't take it flat out with these cars, with these setups.
Well, we will see in just a second, but before we get that green flag, say Parabolica one last time.
Parabolica.
There we go. Green flag flies as we get that one. And it's already spreading out towards the rear of your field. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Taking off Lotus 79's round number 3 here at Monza Combined. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be high speed. It's going to be terrifying. I'm already scared watching this first corner. The banking will come. Coming out now, the far side. This is such a bumpy section of the track here. So much. Even though it's been technically repaired at iRacing, it is horrifically bumpy. These cars are all over the place. And now the whole pack coming out of that first bank into the first straight here. Something that really isn't a racing surface these days, but in iRacing you can. Now into the second part of the oval here before we hit the start-finish line for the second time here, but not for the end of the lap. For the halfway point, really, as we now hit the road part here of the track. And everyone's still in one piece. Somehow they've made it through here. We predicted they probably would. Curva Grande coming up here. There'll be no first chicane, of course, in this layout. It is straight all the way through, because, you know, you want to hit Curva Grande at full speed. That seems like the best, safest thing to do. Here's the first big turning point for them. Everything going well so far. Mr. Turk out front of Partanen. Frisch in third. Simon in fourth place, and we'll come down to that second chicane here. This is our breaking point. This is where we could have a problem. Everyone filtering through nicely and cleanly at the moment. Everything going very well. Everyone terrified to make a mistake, I think. The field gets through clean, Ozzy.
Yeah, column me surprised. Everyone all the way to the back, of course, this is the top split and these drivers know what they're doing. Now the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship is known for its clean racing, but even I am surprised at that one. Oh, we got one, that's Teemu Toikka. That's Teemu Toikka, whole nation's Teemu, one of the most popular sim racers in Finland actually, and in the world. Therefore, making a mistake, let's see what happened to him. It's gonna be the first Lesmo. He's on the outside, trying to make an overtake happen, and number 5 on the inside. Is he gonna get ran to the side? No, Teemu just ran out of real estate, and that's gonna be over the curb, and that's gonna be a spin. thankfully no contact with anybody else, Rachel.
Very lucky spin there, of course, not getting in the way of anybody when he did that, but that's a product of the lack of downforce, I think, Ozzy. He just didn't have anything under that car to hold him reliably on the racetrack there. Car just stepped out. Here we go, end of the first lap. It's Turk with Partanen, Frisch, Simon, Karjalainen. How do I pronounce that one?
Karjalainen.
Karjalainen, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to lean on Ozzy for all the Finnish names for now because my pronunciations suck. Separating out now as we go through lap number 2. Second time through the banking of the oval section here. And we have the Turk and Partanen getting a good breakaway up there towards the front. We're looking on board here from Frisch.
Yep, and you can see the leaders walking away, but what I want you to, if we stay on this picture, what I want you to pay attention to is once they come out of the oval part, as they go side by side, which we're going to see a lot, there's a huge bump as they come back to the main straight, and that bump is really going to upset the cars, especially later on once they get lighter. Just look at these cars in front as they come to the straight right about here. Whoop! See we go.
It's a big step up almost from that oval section where it jumps up to the modern track, in fact, as... wow, yeah, the suck-up effect we saw there for Frisch, just really bringing him into this fight now with the top 2 here, coming under the bridge here and into Curva Grande another time. And, oh, drop off there, just the distance created by coming through that curve, having to try and control this car with next to no downforce, running down towards that second chicane, or the second chicane as we know it, or it would be the first one technically. Although back when this track had this combination, they didn't have any of the chicanes because, lol, safety.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like back in the 1950s when they used to actually race here with Formula 1 cars. It used to be crazy. Of course, those cars were built very different. They had much lower speeds, much longer braking times. So I guess it made sense, but even they realized that nope, we shouldn't use the Monza combined. Let's use the Monza road circuit only instead. Now look at what's happening in the lead is that momentarily, once we came to the Grand Prix section, the top 6 looked like they were getting away with it, with the gap forming to Hisada in 7th, but now Hisada's getting back to a draft range, which is about half a second or 6/10 of a second with these cars, and they are forming a nice long snake, and that's a good news. That's good news for like Javier Sanchez and Kimmo Viljakainen and Severi Seppä and all those drivers caught up in that second pack, most notably Jukka Tolonen, who is the master of low downforce setups. He's all the way down in 10th place, and he'll be surely looking to make his way up there as we have an American in the lead. Sacrilege.
Well, there you go, of course. We'll keep an eye on Tolonen and see what he can do from 10th place in that number 8 machine there. And we do have an American in the lead. It's the Turk leading ahead of Partanen. The Finn in 2nd place. Of course, Aussie does have a natural bias towards his countrymen, so we'll try and moderate that throughout this broadcast to have a fair representation of all the nations involved, of course. But as we go, this is definitely proven to be a lot cleaner than we expected, I think, as we're going to move here by Partanen in 2nd place. The Marlboro machine there looks to the inside again. He did this last time through Aussie, and it might have worked out this time, but he's dropping back again as we see Simon once again stuck up to the bottom here. He's alongside, but will he keep it?
Yeah, remember kids, smoking is bad for you. So, you know, smoking kills, but he's got some smoking skills to keep it alongside over that bump. And now Partanen and Simon are side by side, so we have the ex-champion Tamás Simon from Hungary now working his way up the pole sitter in P3, still looking nice and steady up the front. But yeah, Hisada and the others, have you noticed that, Rachel? They're dropping back on the oval section and they're making up ground on the Grand Prix section of the track, the road section of the track. So what that leads me to believe is that they got a little bit higher downforce maybe. They got the car set up not so much for the top speed and for the oval side, but rather for the Grand Prix portions. Or they are maybe lifting a little bit more than the leaders are over those bumps and taking it safe. Either way, it's going to be an interesting development as this race progresses to see which is the winning strategy today. So far, it looks like the Turk, Partanen, Simon and others have picked the winning horse.
We'll have to see how this plays out, of course. 2 different distinct camps here in the race. It's right up under the rear wing there, you see. Coming through here, the final chicane on the track before we get to Parabolica. As Aussie will once again say Parabolica.
Oh, Reed. No, I will say Reed because he's gone off the track in Ascari. I saw him dropping down in the standings, and that's why the number 7's got significant front wing damage on that left airfoil, and that means, look, I said airfoil instead of front wing. I learned something about airplanes, so we see it again and what's happened to him. Let's analyze this. He's coming up to Ascari, he's braking too late, he lost it under braking, he spun and he got hit, so that's what happened. lucky to get back going on the gravel. I think in authentic racing fashion, the car would have just sunk there, and he wouldn't have been able to keep going anymore. As Togo Hisada comes to the pit lane, and so does, I think, Timothy Reed. So Hisada has picked up some damage as well, and we're gonna see what happened to him here. Well,
he was
he's broken.
Yeah, he was the one that actually hit him. He was the car that made contact as Reed was spinning. Yeah, see?
Yep. Yeah, that's good eyes. So that's
it was the opposite
Hisada
damage. So left side was hit by right side. You know, it's just math with those aerofoils there. As of course, you know. Well, me too, don't worry. But coming out, here's that big bump. Look at the size of that. You can see from the camera angle there. And it's the road surface difference. It's the old oval track, which is an older surface. And of course, a lot of the actual modern Monza surface is built on top of that. So it's actually slightly higher up, of course, meaning that in iRacing, they had to grade that through there to make it function. But look at this now. This is close quarters battling over Italy. It's not a dogfight in the air. It's a dogfight on the ground here as we have these top cars. And whoa, Morelli up to the lead here. Where did he come from? There's cars off the track. Round they go. Gonna replay this, see what happened there. It is Simon.
Yeah, that's Thomas Simon, and that's an unusual error from the ex-champion. I remember him not committing too many, but he lost it on the braking, and maybe getting it a little bit too greedy. We'll see what happens here. Let's roll it down, and we see it from a top-down angle, this helicopter view. I think he was looking to the inside into the second chicane, which is of course the winning way, and I think he may have just outbraked himself and had a similar situation to Timothy Reed earlier on, where he lost it on the braking, cut through the corner, did a good job of avoiding the leaders, which still make a tiny bit of contact, and then you can see what happened to Lesmo 1. Right after that, now we actually see another angle of this replay from Michael de Turk's point of view. I think Michael de Turk got a little bit of contact as well, heading into the first chicane, but look at this shot. It's going to be terrifying. Like, you come into the corner and, hello.
Yeah, I don't think he had contact in the car terms, but let's just say something contacted the inside of his fire suit.
Yeah, and I think, no, the contact was between the Turk and Partanen. I think there was a tiny bit of contact. Yes. Partanen hit his gearbox, and Fletcher is looking to... No, my God! Right into the catch fence!
And the crowd goes wild. Wow, he touchdown, I guess. See what happened there again, because I need to see that. We saw it live right on the camera angle, but I want to see a different shot of this. That was insane there. As wow. Oh my gosh. Trying to work out who that was there.
That was Partanen, Pauli Partanen, who ended up. Yeah, Partanen ended up into the wall. So we're gonna see another angle of this here, and as we that's gonna be an unfortunate camera shot. Let's roll it back a little bit. There we go. Pauli Partanen on the main straight in second place. I think that was actually Finland, not that was Fletcher that hit him, because Prix is coming to the corner here. You can see Fletcher on the inside, and they just touch on the main straight, a little bit clumsy, and the wall comes right up to him, and that's gonna send the car airborne, and that's gonna send him into the catch fence. So that's the end of Pauli Partanen's race, I suppose.
I believe we call that the Mark Webber camera shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that was an insane crash there for those guys. Wow. What I know you do not want to see on a racetrack, of course. De Turk's back towards the front here, so looks like our temporary leader, Morelli, is down a lap now, so he's had an incident as well.
No, he was on the pit lane already, and it was like graphics bug.
Graphics bug, there we go. So De Turk's still leading the way. Head off Frisch now, as we have Kartihainen in the third spot, Tolonen in fourth, Seppa and Sanchez. We're starting to see a bit more of that chaos we were kind of expecting early on. It's starting to happen a little bit later, it seems, here, Ozzy. Gap now from third place back is 2.6 seconds, so there's a draft break there. As you can see, the top three have gotten away there. And then we have that second pack here, who do close up, like you mentioned, under the road section, but not so much on the oval. So we're seeing that setup difference possibly, but we're thinning the herd a little bit towards the sharp end here.
Yeah, and I think the Turk and Fritze and Karjalainen will be clever enough to realize that they have a gap behind and they're not fighting really, they're just looking to keep the status quo as of now. Jukka Tolonen doing best job possible trying to catch up to them and has the fastest lap, 2:17.8. Let's see if he can make something happen here in the clear air. Of course, Tomas Simon takes that away from him. Tomas Simon all the way down in 11th place now. So yeah, after that spin, it took him some time to recover, and we'll be interested to see his progress to the back half of this event. Now, Gerald Fletcher, for those who are not familiar with him, he's won like 15 championships with this car, and despite the contact earlier, he's remained calm and collected, and I think the race strategy here will be super important for the leaders. Now, he's so cool that I think we should call him the refrigerator. I'm sorry.
That's awful. But I get it. I see where you're coming from. It's a worthy pun. Looking towards the front end here, still our leaders there. The Turk, followed by those two cars, and it's really pushing things here. Look at how close there Cartagena is behind him. That is incredibly tight as Frischer behind them. Just amazing discipline by these three drivers here to keep these gaps, and they've been pretty clean the entire time, Ozzy. We've not seen any issues from them, but these guys definitely seem to be running an extremely low downforce.
Yep, and that's the only way to go here. So what you do is you take the wings pretty much to a minimum. 2.0 I think is the minimum, with the lowest possible wicker or no wicker at all, and then you raise the car high. So normally with these cars, I'm not sure what the current preferred setting, so-called meta is, but it used to be around 30 millimeters from the ground for the front of the car, 25 to 30, and it used to be like 40 millimeters in the rear. I think the current ones are somewhere around 33 and 37 respectively. They put it a little bit more even, a little bit less rake these days, and now on this track 60 or 70 I think is the way to go. So the car is double the height, and it looks a little bit older. It looks like a Formula 1 machine from maybe like the heyday of James Hunt. So it's only a couple of years earlier. That's like 1975, 1976. So it looks a little bit older. There's less ground effect, and they still have that Cosset DFV on the back, which, by the way, propels the car all the way to 330 km an hour in clean air. Normally, the top speeds in this series are going to be like 270, 280. So that's a massive speed they're doing up here. And you can see the speeds now, 316 km an hour, topping out Timo Karjalainen in the corner. And I'm interested to see how fast Fritsch is going down the straight line, because it's only going to increase from here. And that's around 200 miles an hour for the metrically challenged.
Metrically challenged, I like that expression. I'll use that more often. It looks like we've got some NASCAR going on here, because it looks as though the 6 is pushing our leader. I don't think he actually is. That would be very detrimental in these cars, but they're
you
drafting.
can do it.
Super hard.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do bump drafting with these cars, because you can see, and here we see it again. Yeah, Timo Karjalainen is actually bump drafting Michael de Turk down the straight line with a Lotus 79 at 300 plus km an hour. I cannot begin to tell you how difficult that is to pull off, because once the nose cone, if the nose cone that ekes out just a little bit away from the nose, if you get it at the wrong angle next to the gearbox that he's essentially hitting, he's in the gearbox there on the back of the car, the only solid part apart from the tires. If he gets it a little bit wrong, if he gets it on an angle, you're essentially gonna pit maneuver someone. Like, they're gonna just eat into the wall. So Karjalainen obviously showing off his excellent craft here and his gamesmanship as well, trying to make the entire leading trio go faster, as Kimmo Viljakainen has had a bit of a mishap in the first chicane.
We'll try and find out what happened to him, but I will say bump drafting at 300 km an hour. I'm surprised those cars could actually drive with the weight of those massive steel cajones in the cockpit. As we get a chance to see the replay here, what happened?
Yep, Viljakainen hitting the curb a little bit too hard, yeah, and he's gonna end up on the gravel as a result of that, so that's all up to him, just turning in a little bit too eagerly, being a little bit too greedy and losing a bit of time. I wonder if that damaged the underbody of his car. I think that's an obvious yes there. But yeah, I mean, the fortitude of these drivers in the lower department of their body is such that they have their own gravity field.
I think that would be... Oh, God. Yep, I think that was the driver's mental thought process there. Yep, close. Oh, God, no. And you saw the back out as he decided just to peel back from what was likely about to be a contact there as the car pushed without the downforce. In fact, he lost a spot because of it there. This angle is absolutely telling here for these drivers. This is what they see. This is the view they're getting, a portion of the corner, because they're still in it, and they're at such an angle. It is so extreme here. And this must feel like the Death Star trench run.
Yep, and iRacing, if you're watching, can we roll back to the previous shot, Joe, just for a moment, for our director there in the broadcast booth. Actually, we have a battle for the position, so we'll get back to that later. Here we go. So look at the wing mirror of that car. That's That's been a bug for 5 years, and I have to get it out there. Fix that, please. Thank you. It's clipping. It's been bothering me.
Important thing, of course, is sort of very important actually. It bothered me too. But here we go. Big Miller cars here from your mid pack, pushing along. These guys are just back from our leaders. It's going to be the grouping really involving Seppa, Sanchez, Pai, and Suarez, etc. Getting some dirt there on the inside of the track, and wow, these guys are moving fast. Pushing through towards second chicane. We've seen a lot more issues cropping up here than we had in earlier laps. It seems like once the cars cool down a little bit, we're seeing a lot more happen. Simon's in that group, actually.
Yeah, he is down in 10th position, and it's going to be very difficult to make his way out of that group, because even if he has the pace, he has to get into the lead, but then how do you get away in the draft pack? You don't really, because you got the great equalizer, which is those long straights. Even if he has the pace in the corners, and he of course he does have the pace, he's Tamás Simon, so he's a past champion in this series for a reason, but he can't get away, and when they're fighting in front of him, as we see now, he's just forced to just sit in behind or make it 3 wide and compromise his race even further than he already has. He must be hitting himself that Suarez and Villakainen are just keeping this battle going, because Simon is now trying to get past Villakainen. Let's see if he can pull it off in the corner. That name is Prix.
Parabolica, of course.
Yes.
It's only funny when you say it, though.
What?
I say it normally.
Yeah. Regardless, Parabolica corner, I would just say the finish way from here on out was the scene of these drivers as they head to the oval section once again on lap number 9. Now, what I want you to see as Toika takes the fastest lap is how Simon will actually navigate this. Because right now he's stuck in the second place in that group. He has to get past Suarez here, and then use the Grand Prix section to build up a gap for himself. It all starts at Curva Grande, which is not taken flat out with these cars. He has to take some risks, and then take the second chicane very fast, and then just build up a gap through Lesmos and the Ascari before the other drivers can catch back up to him. So let's see if he can work that out as they go 2 by 2.
2 by 2 indeed, and you have to be careful about pronunciation, because it sounds like a very rude Polish word there, of course, in Curva Grande. But look at this, drafting right up behind him. I think I would have realised what I meant there.
Yes.
Coming in towards Curva Grande, as I'm going to anglicise the Italian word there. You know what? I do actually prefer the Finnish pronunciation of Parabolica. Parabolica. I quite like that one, actually. It's got bounce to it as we come down towards second chicane now. Clearing through, no issues in particular. Heading down towards Lesmos now.
And you can see him taking a look at the inside is Shimon, but he just can't pull it off. I wonder if he's got a bit of damage. He's going full rally style, and behind him it was Vaughan going even more rally style, actually doing a 360 on the exit of Lesmo number 1, getting it collected, however, but the Australian doesn't end up upside down, just ends up heading the wrong way, and we're gonna see the reason why. So I think the reason was just a bit too much throttle and hitting the AstroTurf, and when those slicks hit the AstroTurf and you're on full throttle, well, things are going to happen. Usually those things are not so good for the driver. You can see it here, yep, hitting the gravel just a little bit, and with such an open diff, it's gonna end up with a 360, but it was well collected, Rachel. I'd say 8 points out of 10.
Oh yeah, that was a good 360 there. He scored himself some points in jump style. Wow, yeah, no, he got the one as he put together. Definitely we're seeing these guys really struggle with the running wide of the track, but that's just a product of how low the downforce is on these cars. But I think no matter how we pronounce it, we can agree that Parabolica was ruined when they concreted the outside of it. But it had the gravel and the grass.
Now that's Tolonen. Tolonen up in P number 3, and Fritsch has dropped back from the pack, so that's Tolonen who was in 4th place. We were thinking that he was out of the battle. Now he is up to 3rd, maybe looking to take 2nd place away here from Karjalainen. Let's see how that happens. Now Tolonen in that Lotus machine, green Martini livery, all the way below the yellow line, which is going to be fine with these cars. There's no rules regarding the yellow line like you see sometimes in Daytona or somewhere else. Yep, Tolonen in 2nd place, and he's going to challenge the Turk for the lead, Rich.
And they're pushing on the outside. Tolonen and De Turk are pushing here to try to stay ahead as we head towards Curva Grande. And in the inside there, Karjalainen is absolutely going for this thing. He'll have the lead here. Stunning drive there by the 6 machine. Coming down towards the chicane. Will he hold it still? Inside door left open there for Deturk. Deturk can't steal it, but here comes Karjalainen. Nope, can't get it done either.
No, and that was you finally nailed the pronunciation, by the way. I'm proud of you
Yay.
on that last one. So Timo Karjalainen in P number 3, I think they are maybe settling for a temporary truce with Michael Deturk just to catch Jukka Tolonen, because something to tell you about Jukka Tolonen's pace, he started all the way, like he was outside of the top 10 in the opening laps. I remember mentioning that, taking notice of that early on, and he's gotten up from there all the way to the lead of this race, so he has the pace. Now, does he have the racecraft to actually hold Deturk and Karjalainen behind him? Because it's gonna be a battle out from coming out from Parabolica in the last lap, I think.
I think he might have the opportunity with seeing that you can make that pass by the line. So it's an interesting experiment to do here early on for them to find out what they'll have to do at the line to make this thing a win tonight. But right now, it is a 3-way battle for your victory. Tolonen, Deturk, and Karjalainen. It's going to be really tight here down to this. And we've also gathered up Frisch again. That will be important. He's still here, and he's still within that draft. So he will be a player coming to the end of this thing. And look at that onboard there. Right from the front wing. Coming up behind the Jägermeister on the rear wing there. Much better for your health, of course, in Marlboro, but just saying.
Yeah, not too much, mind you. Don't take health advice from GSRC, please, if you're watching this. I think the Austrian Gerald Fletcher just went back there for temporarily to the 4th place after Jukka got by him, and then said to Jukka after the overtake, "I'll be back." Should we call him the Terminator? I think we could. Oh no! Oh no! The Terminator, maybe, as Timo Karjalainen is out of the winning battle. He spun to the inside, and that was a very weird-looking incident. Thankfully, was able to get out of everyone else's way. But let's see what happened here. I'm very interested to see it. He's all the way to the inside, so he's holding it here. Look how much he's working to hold it here, hold it all together. He's side by side for the lead, and then over the bump he goes, and it's settled here, it's settled here, it's settled here. Yeah, a bit of netcode contact, unfortunately, for Timo Karjalainen there, and that's gonna send him to the wall. So that's Karjalainen's race over, and then forward 3.
That will not buff out, unfortunately. There are now 3 left, of course, as he got terminated, unfortunately, right as we were mentioning that nickname. So that's really unfortunate. Yeah, the thumbs up there going into Molten Metal. What's that
Oh no. No, Terminator 2 spoilers, by the way, but I love that movie.
It's a bit late for that.
Yeah, maybe. What was it, like 1992 or 3 when it came
Yeah,
out?
it's been a minute. Yeah, I think we're okay for that point now. There comes a point where spoilers are acceptable. Spoiler alert: we have no idea how this race is going to end, so we'll have to find out. With it being a draft track, it could be any one of these 3, and they all have the potential. Or none of them. That is equally possible. We've seen some moments today that would prove all of them could just wipe each other out, and this could be Seppa's race.
And that's Severi Seppa in 4th place, towing Javier Sanchez behind him in that 5th. I love that livery. I love that purple livery that Sanchez is sporting here as Shimon takes the fastest lap. They are 5 seconds behind the leader, so they're not going to catch up unless there is a monumental battle or all of them end up in the wall, which is certainly possible. As I believe Rachel there is battling for the lead once again.
There is once again a battle for the lead. There's an Austrian out front in Fischer. Right down at the bottom here of the track. Underneath Tolonen. Or Deturk, sorry, at this point, actually. Pushing this thing as hard as he can. What a wild ride we're seeing here. In fact, it is Tolonen we actually have, because it was Karjalainen, I think, that got taken out. It was.
Yes.
So, unfortunate for him, but Tolonen still there, along with Fischer, who's leading now, with Deturk in 3rd place. Bump drafting up towards Curva Grande. Inside line will be helpful, but will it be enough here? It's going to be inside line. The outside line becomes inside into the chicane, but as we go nearly 3 wide, crossovers, and everyone changing place at the last second. And he will make it through. So he secures that one there in the 8th, Tolonen.
Yeah, I think Deturk was thinking of sending it there, and Legend the Stamp just absolutely sending it into the first chicane here. But then he decided to just be the typical postal service and lost the package instead.
That's one way to put it, I suppose, as we're here on lap number 12 of 15 at Monza combined. And this has been a breathtaking race so far. These guys have definitely been keeping us very much entertained. And looking back through our pack, of course, we do have a huge knot of cars behind this lead group.
Oh!
Well, that sucks for the 18. He's, Finnegan is upside down.
Yeah, you can say that again. They're coming to the Curva Grande, so... And I think that was now the Polish pronunciation of that corner there for Finnegan. Yep, that's a Curva Grande for him. Oh, and both of them end up sky high into the air. That's actually a two-car incident. They got tangled together coming into the corner. And yeah, that's never really going to end well when you're doing 200 miles an hour there, 200 k's an hour as Fritchie takes the fastest lap, and we are really getting down to the last bits of this race, the last hurrah of this race. Now, Rachel, if you were in that leading group, would you want to be leading coming down to the white flag?
I want to be third.
Really?
Third seems to be the strong spot. It seems to be the place to launch from. You can get that suck up behind the lead too if they're side by side. You can pick your spot. I think it's going to be the advantageous position. Second might be a little too vulnerable. Third seems to have the more powerful section.
Oh, fair enough. I would want to be leading just because I could just make the widest Lotus 79 ever and then probably cause a massive accident. In process, they are bouncing more and more over the last section. That's as they're racing side by side. The car is really getting more and more fidgety as they come towards the end of this race. It's really like it's even more loose now. I think they're all the way down to the minimum in terms of the rear anti-roll bar that is adjustable in this car, and they are going to want to adjust it throughout the race. But no one of them wants to lift because it's a battle for the win. It's a battle for the win at Monza, which is one of the greatest prizes.
Did you see that there? Frisch was leading at the line. That's important. Pay attention to that because it was exactly where he wanted to be. He's running second now, but he was leading at the line, which is important. That could be critical coming into the final part here.
But Rachel, you're asking me to pay attention with my attention deficit. Oh, shiny!
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Oh, scroll! No,
yes,
it's going to be one of those really important parts to pay attention to. If you have any saved up, your attention is valuable now. Because these last two laps are going to be everything. These guys are going to be on top of each other. We have these three together behind them. We have Seppa, Sanchez, Pi in a... Well, so Seppa and Sanchez together. Then we have Pi and Simon. Then we have Suarez. Trengerid? That's definitely wrong. Vidkalainen. And we have Vaughn in a group behind them. So there's definitely some separation here. We have some small groupings, of course. We expected drafting, but they have separated out somewhat here. We've had some spectacular crashes today. I thought we were going to have some mild ones. Maybe we'd have a huge kerfuffle on lap one, but the few airborne crashes we've had have been stunning. In fact, I think two of them have ended up outside the racetrack, so they're walking through the Italian countryside right now.
I don't think they'll be walking right now, but so yeah, it's what you expect to happen when you're doing 200 miles an hour in an open wheeler, especially such an old one. These cars are now close to 50 years old. They're well over 40 years old as they're side by side for the lead, and when contact happens, it's gonna be massive with these vehicles and these steel guard rails that are on either side of the track, or at least on one side of the car, so the banking is gonna do some damage. And again, side by side, let's see who's gonna be ahead on the line this time, even if it's not the change of lap, mind you, it's still the road section to go. So Olonen taking the lead, but Kirk is challenging him.
Yeah, he really is, and this could be very critical now. Lap 14, it's going to be 2 to go now. This will be our white flag lap. So this will be our white flag this time by for your field. Tolonen, the Turk, and Frisch, the American, the Finn, and the Austrian here. Going to be important to see what happens from these guys as everyone slows down so much in our second chicane side by side coming out of the exit. Tolonen and the Turk side by side here. Frisch looking for an opening, but he is in third place. This could be important.
It is very important. Tolonen was able to hold on to that, but the Turk showing some determination there. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he might be the Turk Determinator here, Michael Determinator with his battles. Frisch now looking to hold back a little bit, and this is what he does so well. He has over 10 years of experience racing this car, and the Turk trying to make it a proper battle here, challenging to Ascari, and that has the potential to end up unwell, but they managed to survive through, barely.
They just about do it, yeah. So right now, Tolonen out front, De Turk and Fritsch behind them in third place there. Seppa, Sanchez, and Simon, you can just see in the background, along with Pi, coming through Parabolica here. I really loved it when that runoff didn't exist and it was just packed up like this, in fact, with the sand on the outside. Now in real life, it's just boring and asphalt, the whole thing. No consequences. Consequences are great in racing, just not for your health, which is again why they put chicanes in here, because it turns out going 200 miles an hour into Curva Grande is not a bright idea. As right now, coming through the oval for this final lap now, Simon has the fastest lap there of the race so far, but look at this. This is the dogfight we expected here. Up the inside, shoots the front.
Yeah, Tolonen had to lift behind the Turk. He was coming too close and he had to lift, and that allows Gernot to make it to the lead of this pack, so that is going to be important. I don't think Tolonen wanted that to happen, but Fritsch is not going to have it for free at all.
Not at all, and this is all for the marbles here. It's going to be the 10 of the Turk alongside Fritsch on the inside. Behind them, Tolonen. Martini Racing Finn looking to go to the inside. Oh, that nearly was a pit maneuver. During the bump draft there. My God, look at that angle. What are we seeing here? Yes, a bump drafting in open wheel race cars. What? 300 km/h bump drafting. I still can't get my head around that. Running wide. Oh, nearly too wide there, but he holds it together here, heading down to the second chicane.
Yep, and let's see who sends it. Tolonen isn't going to send it to the inside. It's going to be the Turk taking the lead there, as the inside line is preferential there. Now Tolonen is looking to make the second place in Lesmo 1, but doesn't have to run. So he's going to have to rely on Fritsch making a challenge either to Ascari or the Parabolica corner, and then try and take them on the run from Parabolica to the finish line. I know you love me saying that word, so once more, Parabolica.
I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Coming down now towards Ascari. And this will be the big one for these guys. This is the end of our lap here. Who will take away the victory at Monza Combined? Will it be Determinator, Da Fritsch, or De Tolonen? Who knows? We'll have to find out in a second. I thought that would work, but it didn't work as well as I thought it would. But either way, coming down now. Last run into Parabolica. Out to the inside goes Fritsch. Looks back inside. Will he have the opportunity here? He's going to have to do something special, but he is right behind him. He could get that draft pass done. He has a good setup to the corner, runs wide. Shallow line here for De Turk. Will it be enough? He's not got the speed, I don't think. Here comes Fritsch. Will this be? No, he's wiggling. He's trying to make it as wide as possible. No, they got it. He's got it. The win is De Turk. Determinator takes the win at Monza Combined here today. The rest of our field come across the line. What a fantastic race we just saw, Ozzy.
Yeah, I think Gernot didn't quite have the pace on the GP section to put a challenge here, as we see some battles for the final points paying positions. I think that would be 10. So yeah, number 17. That's Barry West. Yeah, coming very wide to Parabolica and allowing himself to get past. And this is going to be 10 for places very, very well down the field. They come across the line, and that's a good battle. Sorry, I completely lost my plot there, because I was trying to think, yeah, Barry West is going to end up 16 and all this going to end up 15, so Barry West unfortunately coming up second best on that one. But yeah, it was a good race. I was hoping for more in the last lap. Maybe if Tolonen was the one to challenge the Turk, maybe it could have been even better, but still a good race, and not as many horrendous accidents as I was really expecting. We didn't have a field cleaning one, we just have had multiple big shunts all over the place. But Rachel, I believe you have the final results for us.
We're going to send it to a quick break. When we come back, we will have those final results and interviews, so stick around.
So that was a wonderful, wonderful round of Classic Teams Championship here at Monza, the round number 3 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and here is your winner, Michael de Turk, the American, conquering Monza just like Mario Andretti did back in the day. Gerald Fletcher coming home in the second place, a great race for the veteran Austrian, and Jukka Tolonen gaining 13 places at one point, has to give up 2 of them, the most crucial duo, but he's still gonna be the most popular guy here on the podium because that race was fantastic from Jukka, despite ending up in P number 3. Severi Seppä was 4th across the line, just ahead of Javier Sanchez. Shimon coming home 6th after his mishap on the second chicane. Bartek Pai 7th, Uwe Trengride in 8th place, Kimmo Viljakainen 9th, and Timothy Vaughan rounding out your top 10 with Teemu Toikka in 11th place, making good recovery after ending up last on the first lap. Javier Mosquera 12th, Shelman Suarez coming home 13th, just ahead of Pablo Suarez, then it's Gwendolen Old, Barry West, and then we come to your retirement, Keith Herner finding the wall, as did Nathan Finnegan and Timo Karjalainen in that horrendous incident. Ryan Ingle as well, classified as 5 laps down, ending up with his car on the wall. So did Pauli Partanen, Stogo Hisada, Timothy Reed, and Nicolas Morelli are your classifying drivers, last classifying drivers, all as 12 laps down. And next up, we are going to speak to our race winner, Michael de Turk here. Michael, you brought it home in one piece. You actually didn't crash for once, and see what happens.
Every now and then a blind squirrel will find a nut.
Yeah, exactly. So Monza combined. Now, first of all, I have to ask you, whose brilliant idea was this? Because for me, I can't imagine a worse combo.
You know, it was one of those instances where I was looking back through past tracks that we had and hadn't run, and Timo and I were talking about it, and I said I would try Monza combined, and he tried the Hell Rallycross course, and we compared notes, and we decided that Monza combined was less worse.
Oh, that makes sense if the alternative is a rallycross track, especially one with not that much tarmac. So, Michael, it was a great battle between you, Gernot, and Jukka also in the end. There were a couple of other drivers involved too, but one by one they dropped out. What was your approach to this race in terms of speed versus safety?
Maximum top speed, and please don't let anybody dive down the inside on me because I don't know if I'll brake in time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there were a couple of instances where you were close to a total disaster, but you managed to pull through. A great victory here at Monza, of course, and this is going to be great for your championship as well. Are you going to make a charge for the trophy this year?
I absolutely will try. Paulie's very strong. Yuka's very strong. If Andy or Timo show up for more rounds, you know, they're always in contention for a win. So, yeah, I'll give it my best.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations for the win as well. If you have anyone you would like to thank, then feel free to do so.
Thank you. Thanks to you guys for the great broadcast as usual. Yuka for the awesome set this week. And once again, another I'm sorry to Timo. You know, I heard clear on the spotter and it said 0.1 on the relative, but clearly I was not clear. So I feel really bad about that. And I'm sorry I ruined his race.
Oh, that's a fair apology. But then, Michael, he can maybe cry into your winner's cup then. But, thank you for the interview, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
So that was Michael de Turk, your race winner, and then we talked to the silver medalist, the man maybe with a little bit of silver in his hair as well. I'm not sure about that, but the Austrian Gerald Fletcher, Gerald, Monza combined with Lotus 79. How did you feel about that?
Hi, Ossian. It's such a crazy track because everyone's running with zero downforce, maximum ride heights, and of course it's just a drafting challenge. And yeah, unfortunately, this race has been a little bit like a shootout race. I'm really sorry for how things ended up for Pauli because we were having a good battle, and I don't know if there's someone responsible for that count. It was just bad luck, I think. And yeah, sorry for him, but yeah, congrats to Michael and Yuka. It was a crazy race.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of netcode between you two, so neither of you were really responsible. Last lap, you had a chance to win. What was your approach? Did you think that you could challenge Michael de Turk, or were you just focused on keeping the second place?
Yeah, of course, I tried to challenge him. On the other hand, it was basically a lottery between the first 3 guys, because we had just similar pace. And it could happen all in the end. So just tried not to make a mistake and to be in a good position drafting wise. But yeah, didn't get close enough to Michael to really go for a last attack there.
Well, you were 15 points before this race. Now the season is very young. How will you take yet another championship this year? What's your strategy?
No strategy there. Basically, I don't think I have a real chance. I'm not fast enough, to be honest, on most tracks. For some reason, the recent past I've been really competitive on the super low downforce tracks. So that's just the opposite of what I usually believe. So I can't tell what it is. But yeah, the other guys are simply more competitive and quicker than me this season. So I accept that and just try to have good races and have good battles on track.
Well, I've heard that one before, but thank you again a lot for the interview. Congratulations on the second place, and see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. See you.
So that's Gerald Fletcher in second place, our Austrian. And last but not least, we are going to talk to the man who started well down the field, but we knew he had the pace today, up 13 positions at some point, and then Jukka Tolonen ending up on the podium. Jukka, first of all, it was a great race, but what happened to you in qualifying?
Well, I had hardware issues, so I guess my Fanatec is dying. I lost feedback completely on the first lap. I spun to the chicken. Then on the second lap, I was doing well, but I wasn't able to shift at all. So after the Lesmo 2, I was trying to desperately get bigger gear in, but it didn't go. And then also after Ascari, the same thing. So I lost several seconds there. So I really believe I had a chance for pole. I pretty much crushed everyone in the pre-broadcast race in qualifying. So that was really frustrating. So it was, well, if I have ever had a roller coaster of emotions kind of race, this was it. I was so down when I was 13th in the grid, but then I was able to pick all those positions and eventually catch the front after. I guess they were battling a lot and losing time, so I was also a bit lucky. But then again on the last lap on the start finish line, I didn't get fifth gear in, and during the race I kept losing feedback every now and then, and I adjusted the feedback strength option in the black box during the race to the minimum, so that the kind of change between having and not having feedback was as small as possible. So it was completely nuts.
Okay, so that was an interesting race for you then. I'll have you know that my DFGD is up for sale. Now only 3-figure numbers instead of 4 figures, so that has never failed me at least. But Jukka, now tell me about your helmet, because what is an Angry Birds helmet doing in a race car from 1970?
Well, I have to thank Michael about that helmet. So basically, it's modified from helmet that Heikki Kovalainen has been running in.
Oh
F1.
yeah.
And yeah, Michael just put my name there, and I'm really far relative to Heikki, so that's the kind of story behind of that. I of course was a fan of Heikki when I was small, as we are from same. Well, we are both from Suomussalmi originally, so that's the story behind it.
Okay, so 2 boys from the north and being a fan of Heikki. Okay, that's fair enough. So I think we can call you world's fastest Jukka now from this moment onwards. Anyway, Jukka, congratulations for P number 3. Let's hope that becomes P number 1 in our next race. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thanks. See you.
So that's Jukka Tolonen, our final podium finisher of the day. And well, with that, the broadcast is pretty much over. So thanks to all the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts. They are listed here on your screen. You can see them all here. Additional thanks to Juno Lond, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp. for more awesome work. That's Journalond at .bandcamp.com. Definitely gonna suggest that one. Thanks to the team today, Rachel, Joe, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. You'll be our second follower. Yay! Also, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. Make sure to rep the red brand. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. The next race will be at Sears Point, Sonoma, Sunday, April 10th, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, yes, not Easter time. That's a completely different festivity, also coming close up. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar so you don't forget them. They are all going to be full of awesome racing, and you don't really want to miss them. Up next, we will have ABL at Barber at 2 p.m. Eastern time, so that's going to be one to tune in for if you have a boring Sunday. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.